Good morning and welcome back to PrepperCon Radio. I'm your host Scott Stallings, and I've got with me, as always, Shane, the prepared guy. How you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good. All right, so you can find out more about us if you want to check us out. You can find us on Facebook /PrepperCon. You can find us at PrepperCon.com and also thepreparedguy.com. If you're listening in, you can also check us out. We're going to be on Twitter this morning and Facebook this morning talking about the issues of emergency preparedness. We did have a guest scheduled today, Ms. America, Julie Harmon, and I think she's stuck in traffic, so we're going to hold off on introducing her. But in the meantime, we want to talk to you guys about preparedness.
Yeah, I've got a little something this morning that I wanted to start out with. I guess to talk a little bit about history, a little bit. Hopefully, everybody knows that Scott is the founder of PrepperCon, and Scott and I met late last year, and it's been what I would call a long and windy and bumpy road that brought us together. But it definitely brought us together for a purpose, and I'm very proud and very happy to be here with you, Scott, every Wednesday and during the week as well, working with you on PrepperCon. And I've got a little something for Scott that he definitely deserves. It's something that you can't buy for yourself. It's something that must be given to you. And what it is, it's what's called a little morale patch.
Sweet.
It's a sheepdog morale patch.
Thank you very much.
And as you know, the sheepdog is the one that protects the sheep from the wolves. And Scott is definitely that man. If anybody's a sheepdog, it's Scott. So
Thank you very much.
You very much deserve that.
You know what's funny is I see and hear this an awful lot. I hear a lot of people throwing out the term sheeple way too often. It may apply in some areas, but I think in Utah, that's one of those terms that really doesn't apply very well, because Utah is so good at emergency preparedness, taking care of their families, taking care of what's important. For me, that's emergency preparedness. I mean, it's survival. It's making sure that if I go on a long drive, I've got a blanket in the car, I've got the tire jack ready to go, I've got a spare with air in it. You know, it's just the basics. But then it also comes into play with year-long food storage, plans for evacuation for a fire. I mean, I live in Bountiful now, and when I lived in California, we actually dealt with some major fires, and hills like Bountiful would have been on fire all the time. Thankfully, since I've been here, no fires. But we have an evacuation plan. We try to take care of those types of things just in case.
Yeah, and I wanted to say a little something about sheeple as well. I used to be a sheep or a sheeple, as most may refer to it, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to be called a sheep. I'm happy to be under Scott's watchful eye as a sheepdog. I also have his back, and I know he also has my back as well. So don't always use the word sheep as a bad thing. Sheeple, yes, maybe, but sheep, not necessarily. Another thing I was going to point out is the morale patch that I put on my hat here. If you noticed, Scott, I know Scott noticed it. This is one that you actually have to buy for yourself. You have to give to yourself. And let me describe it real quick here. It is an American flag in the camo color, and instead of the traditional star pattern, it has the 13 original stars with a Roman numeral 3 inside of it. Now, Scott, what does that mean?
That is signifies 3%, which, if you go back to the founding of our country, it was really only 3% of the colonies that wanted independence, that actually fought for independence. That's kind of our founding fathers.
3% of the individuals, of the colonists that actually picked up a weapon and fought for independence.
Absolutely. So it's amazing what a small group can do, if you really think about
Absolutely.
it. It was a huge impact. So if you're listening right now, if you want to join in on the conversation, you can join in. Our number is 801-254-5855. You can try to stump the prepared guy today. Bring us your questions. Again, this is K-Talk Radio. It's KTKK AM 630. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at KTKK. Facebook, it's pretty simple. It's just K-Talk Utah.
You can also go to PrepperCon TV on YouTube. We're recording these broadcasts and putting them on our TV page there as well.
So what is your biggest project for the week as far as preparedness, Shane?
Oh, I don't know. This morning I'm feeling quite inadequate. as I come in and talk to you guys this morning and listen to the great show we had before us, talking about the U.S. dollar and so forth, and continually learning new things and feeling inadequate. But I think for this week, it's kind of a survival week for me. Trying to enjoy a little bit, I guess, the anniversary today of Back to the Future. As you know, it's kind of a buzz all around as of today's October 21st of 2015 when Marty McFly came back from Back to the Future. So I'm going to be watching that today.
After today, the funny thing is starting tomorrow, every Back to the Future movie actually happened in the past.
That's true.
Which is kind of a weird thing to think about. Growing up, I loved those movies. I was a really big fan. And now, still a big fan. I've got the trilogy at home ready to go anytime I need to watch it. But I think my favorite's still number 3.
Number 3?
1 was fun, but I love the Old West. And that's the funny thing about prepping is if something does happen, if the crap hits the fan, I shouldn't say if, when the crap hits the fan, that's kind of how we're going to be living.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a stark reality.
And I did actually realize what I am actually working on this week, not just this week, but this month. I am working on pulling out my gas insert fireplace and putting in an actual wood-burning fireplace.
Really?
Yeah. And then stockpiling up on wood, of course. You can go get a permit for about $30 and cut 4 cords of wood, which may last you an entire winter.
Now, how hard is it really to pull that gas insert out and set up for wood?
Well, mine's built in, so I've got to do a little bit of demo, and it's going to take a little bit, but it's not terribly difficult.
Well, good. All right, well, let's kind of change the subject a little bit, talk about actual preparedness. What is your evacuation plan in case of you live down in Provo, well, not Provo, but just north of Provo and north of Orem. You've got a couple big reservoirs backed up if you go up the mountains.
Yep.
What is your family's evacuation plan if there were a dam break in a flood area?
Well, we've situated ourselves in a location where we would be perfectly safe from one of the 2 reservoirs or both breaking. So I've always lived up on the Orem bench. I take it very seriously where I live, and I don't want to live in a low-lying area which could be more affected by the earthquakes. I actually live right near the fault line, which I actually have a geologist living as my neighbors who have told me directly that this is the safest place to live in the entire county for earthquakes. So I'm very, very proud to be there, very happy to be there, and then, of course, to be higher and out of the way from any kind of flood from the reservoirs.
So you talking about earthquakes, I guess we're jumping around a little bit today. One of the big things I hear a lot of, especially in Utah, is liquefaction.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know what that is. You want to explain what that is for everybody?
Well, that's one of the reasons I also chose to live on the Orem Bench. It's a very rocky basin. Anybody who plants a garden up there and digs a hole knows that it's very dense, kind of a bedrock, I guess you'd call it. As you go closer toward, say, Utah Lake or even Salt Lake, the soils become more sandy, and groundwater level is much higher. And in an earthquake, the shaking can cause that to, I guess the term is liquefy, to I guess kind of become soft and kind of like a quicksand, and houses can sink, or at least foundations can sink in certain areas and cause some serious damage.
Yeah. So for people who've been to California, everyone hears about the San Andreas fault line, probably one of the most famous fault lines out there. That's a horizontal fault line. Now, what that means is when it's moving left, right, forward, backward, that's it. In Utah, we've got a vertical fault line, which is the standard type of fault line. They're a lot more destructive when they do pop because it's vertical. It moves up and down, but it can also move forward, back, and side to side. Now, if it moves up and down, what liquefaction is the result of that snap. It's like snapping a whip or snapping a towel. You kind of get that roll out, and what it does is anything that's not solid becomes the tail of that whip or the tail of that towel and just kind of snaps and it liquefies. It really becomes like quicksand. And your homes can sink a little bit or a lot depending on the severity. But it is going to destroy all of your water lines. It's going to destroy your sewer lines. Your power grid's going to go down. And that's why disaster preparedness is where I've always really focused my attention on is disaster preparedness. I mean, that's why you need to have backup water. That's why you need to have, your stored food with alternative means for cooking and preparing it. Because if your water's out, if your toilets are not working, you can't just sit and use your sink like you used to. It's not there. You know, your kitchen's totally changed. You may be cooking outside. If you've got a camper that's still intact, that might be a great solution for a little while. But you need to have a backup plan. You know, my family, we're pretty fortunate. We have a gas grill in the backyard. We've also got some propane tanks. We have a camper, but we're going to be selling that. So I'm going to have to get some new propane tanks. But propane's a fun fuel because it stores really well. It's not like your typical gas. And it's not like your white gas or butane. Propane stores a really long time without any additives. And it's pretty easy to get. So we've got that. We can connect it to some cooktops, and we're good to go. It's funny, though, because a year ago, it would have been just a fire for me. I would have just been charcoal in it with my Dutch oven. And that's, I mean, not a bad way to go, but eventually you run out of charcoal. And then you have to prepare your wood a little bit better so that you get the right heat. Otherwise, your bread's not going to cook right, or your lasagna's not going to cook right, or my personal favorite, my peach cobbler's not going to cook right. You know, but you've got to have that plan, and you've got to practice that plan. I think that's where most people fall off, is they just don't practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Then if you don't practice, you really don't know what you need. Like, for example, I've got a nice shelf full of the 3-pound propane cylinders. It's a small.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a pound and a half. And those store extremely well. Easy to store, safe to store in your home in a conditioned space. Not like the larger tanks, which I would definitely not store indoors.
Yeah, definitely. Like ours, we've got the big ones, the 7 gallons. We've also got a couple 3-gallon ones, a bunch of little 1.5 pound ones. Those are all stored out. Well, I can't really say off-site. That'd be nice if they were. They're all stored outside in the back, just a bit away from the house, just for safety. You want to make sure you're always storing your flammables away from the house, including your paints. This is one thing that a lot of people forget about, especially your oil-based paints. Don't store those in your garage. You know, they're not going to last long anyways, because with our fun weather cycle, winter's going to mess it up, summer's going to mess it up. So just put it in your shed, hope for the best, and always keep a swatch handy so you can reorder that paint. But do not store it in your garage. That's probably the last place you should be storing it.
Especially the oil-based and so forth.
Absolutely. You're going to hear a lot of times, you know, if somebody has a fire that started in the garage, it's going to be starting from either something with the car or with fuels. You know, electrical problem hits the fuels, boom, goodbye house, goodbye garage, goodbye way of life. And that's another disaster you got to watch out for. Let's talk to the callers. If you guys have a question, if you guys have a comment, what are some things you're doing personally to help your family practice what you preach in regards to emergency preparedness? What is your family plan? What are things that you're concerned about? And maybe we can get another caller that can answer that question, or we can answer that question. But what are some things you're concerned about that you feel you need a better plan for? That's what we're going to devote the rest of the time to today, is really just talking about that plan, what your plan is, what you're doing, how you're helping your family practice. If you're not practicing, then your plan is not really intact. You don't have a plan because you've never gone through it. You know, you do fire drills for a purpose so that your kids and your family know what to do in case of a fire. Do you have earthquake drills? Do you have evacuation drills? You know, just a couple summers ago, they were evacuating most of Harriman because of fires. You know, what is your plan? What did your family do to be ready? You know, my family, we've got a couple different bags pretty much ready at a moment's notice. And you can call them a bug-out bag. You can call it a 72-hour kit. We're going to come back after the break and talk a little bit more about that and take some calls. But the importance of preparedness is far more vital if you're unprepared.
So Lisa texts me, we're not taking out the gas fireplace. Actually, that's my goal probably for next year. I'll get to it this year. But
The Armor Armory Shooting Range, located at 248 West 9210 South in Sandy, is Utah's newest and largest indoor shooting range. The Armory features 18 climate-controlled lanes with state-of-the-art target carriers and air systems. The Armory has a vast selection of rental guns for use on the range, including machine guns. The Armory's facility and firearm training programs are designed with your personal safety and enjoyment as a priority. Many services are offered, including classes, gunsmithing, and a cutting-edge training simulator. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced marksman, the in-depth training, highly qualified instructors, and custom-designed facility will get you to where you want to be as a shooter. Head on in to experience the newest indoor shooting range in the state, just off the freeway at 248 West 9210 South in Sandy. Online at armoryshootingrange.com or call 801-447-1789. The Armory Shooting Range, just off the freeway at 248 West 9210 South in Sandy.
If you really want to get there.
Is your furnace giving you trouble? Or perhaps you didn't get around to replacing that old AC unit this year? CTR Heating and Air is the locally owned and operated HVAC company you can trust. Check them out on Angie's. They're also Get Bud approved and have years of experience that will assure your home is the perfect temperature.
So maybe
all year round.
Up on that.
Turn to the experts. CTR Heating and Air is an authorized dealer for Carrier, the leading name in furnace and air conditioning systems. Yes, CTR Heating and Air offers the best price and quality furnace and AC equipment, but they also service most manufactured products. And CTR will always provide you with a straightforward assessment of the service required to have your furnace or AC unit running smoothly and efficiently. Get ready for the cold weather. Take advantage of CTR's early bird furnace tune-up special for the low price of $999-$4220. That's 801-999-4220. 801-999-4220. Or visit them online at ctrheatingandair.com. As an entrepreneur, you're always on the go. So turn your mobile phone into a business phone system with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. Get a new business number or keep your current one. Sound professional with a main greeting and multiple extensions that forward callers to your mobile phone. You can even get voicemails transcribed. Join over 150,000 small businesses who stay connected with Grasshopper. See how it works at grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system. By 2025, it's estimated that half the world's population will lack access to safe drinking water. A sorry state of affairs as 2/3 of our planet is covered by water. We are helping develop solutions for salt water to satisfy the thirst of future generations. BASF. We create chemistry.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to PrepperCon Radio. You can follow us on Twitter at KTKK. We are AM 630 K-Talk Radio. I love this place. We still don't have our special guest today. I'm thinking our airplane must have come in late, but she did mention she might be late, and so we're just wondering where she is. She's probably prepared for what just happened, but
Julie,
apparently we are not. So we're going to do something special. We're going to play her platform video. This is from when she was Ms. Utah America. She has since been crowned. It's funny because she won the Miss Congeniality Award for the pageant. Her platform is emergency preparedness. And the winner actually had to step down for health reasons, and she was the runner-up. And so she became the de facto, now formal, and was crowned actually in Midvale. She is Ms. America 2016. Let's go ahead and play this platform video and give you guys a taste of what her platform is. Oh, we got some technical difficulties here. That's my bad.
A focus on self-reliance. Self-reliance to me goes really deep. It goes to the heart of everything that I'm about. I'm a single mother, business owner, and serial entrepreneur. I realized over the years of being a single mom that there were many instances and moments in my life where I wasn't sure if I was prepared, whether it be every day or emergencies. I found myself in the middle of accidents or not enough money in the bank account, where I knew that I had to search deeper. I had to figure out whether or not I was truly prepared. I realized too that it was the message that not only I needed to receive, but there were a lot more citizens in the country that need to receive it as well. And I realized also that self-reliance is something that isn't just about food storage. It's a message that goes across the board in many facets of life. I'm taking this message to businesses and nonprofits, through education system and politics. I'm also bringing it to our service providers. I'm working with so many different systems and organizations. In order to bring awareness about self-reliance, each one of us needs to carry this message with us. We need to realize, are we truly prepared in case of emergency? Are we ready for what tomorrow brings? Do we have what we need that's essential to our own lives? That's really what this message is about. And I can't wait to share it more around the country, the state of Utah, and hopefully around the world.
Pretty awesome. I love her. She's just such a gem. She's so much fun to be around. She's just always happy, always pleasant, and she's always got a plan, which I love. Prepping, planning, it's just kind of my thing. I don't like being disorganized. I hate not having the things that I may need in case of an emergency. So I kind of go a little overboard. But the reality is because I'm overboard, I don't have to be afraid.
Yeah, I think what Julie's also going to help us do is kind of kick off our next month of themes. Each week is going to have an individual theme as part of what we call, I guess, the mission of PrepperCon. Scott, did you want to introduce that?
Yeah, so our platform with PrepperCon is prepare, protect, survive, and thrive. And we feel like all four of those kind of cover the gambit of what emergency preparedness is. Mm-hmm. Prepare, obviously, meaning get ready early. Second part of it is really protect, self-defense, home defense, just making sure you're in a safe place, not going into places that aren't safe to be in the first place. Survive, being able to get through anything, and then thrive, having fun and loving it. We actually have a caller. Let's go ahead and take this call. Hello, caller. Thank you, and welcome to PrepperCon Radio. Are you there?
Again, a little more technical difficulties here.
Are you there?
Here.
All right. Sorry about that. We got you now.
That's okay. Whatever you were playing about your friend that's supposed to be there, it didn't go over the airwaves.
It didn't go over the air? Oh, my goodness.
No,
I don't know what just happened then. So we just had a couple minutes of dead airspace. Well, we're new at this. We apologize. I'm still learning.
I understand. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, we're preppers, not producers.
So, while I've got you, do you have anything on preparedness you want to talk about today?
I just got to get ready. I've been getting ready for 15 years, but I don't have a generator. And I haven't made it to the prepper thing. I went by that, the big one you had down south with a friend on Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
So many people, and I got there like around noon. I said, too many people. I went home.
Uh-oh. Some of the big ones are kind of hard to get around in, but you can always find something that you can connect with. Our event, which is going to be next April, it's a big one, but it's pretty spread out. We've got 2 full halls, and we just have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and my advice, I guess, I would say is that I wouldn't be too concerned about not having a generator. Generator is definitely something you use on short-term, for short-term emergencies and such. And most people, I would say, like myself or other relatives, you can really get along without having a generator for a short period of time, because you can, once that power outage is out, you can easily and quickly recover after that. So I wouldn't make that a very high priority for you. I would look more towards longer-term power solutions such as solar, wind power, and so forth. That would be my advice. So don't be too concerned about not having a generator.
What do you think of the Berkey water system that Alex Jones keeps advertising and he's on the airwaves?
That's something I want to try, that Berkey filter. We could probably get him out here and get him on the air. We've got a guy in Arizona called Nevada called the Berkey guy that he comes to PrepperCon. We should probably have him do an interview and maybe bring out some samples, but I hear that's an awesome filter system.
Berkeys are fantastic. I actually have a brother that lives out in Eagle Mountain, and that water is very, I don't know if it's very hard, but it has some contaminants that they've chosen to filter all of their water that they drink through a Berkey filter.
The water here is not that great. I clean houses for a living, and the water, it comes, on the tap, and it comes out of the thing, and you have to you know, soap and vinegar, you know what I mean? Different things that you do when you clean.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
items, you know, that you have in your house of hard water deposits, and this valley really has bad water. I mean, it tastes better than California water, but it's got some kind of, I don't know what it is, or it's lime or what in it, but yeah.
In Utah in general, we've got some pretty good water. I think I feel blessed to have some pretty darn good water, and not a lot of communities that are fluoridating their water or adding other contaminants to the water.
Yeah, and you really want to filter that out because it's actually, I mean, it may be good to keep the water clean and pure all the way to your house, but once it gets to your house, you want to get it safe, clean, and pure.
I have land in New Mexico that I never go to, that I inherited. It's 13 hours from here, okay? And I'm self-employed, so I don't leave my job. And I have a well. And it's all, you know, by electricity, right? It's in the ground, you know, it's electric well, whatever. My parents put it in years ago. And if anything happens, what do you do with that situation? Like if, you know, the grid is, you know, gone or whatever, what would you do? You have a well that you can't get the water from.
So you can always get a backup hand pump, manual pump, and get that installed as a backup line to your generator or to your powered pump. A lot of people that I know that have wells do that. And yeah, of course it's manual labor, but it works. Another one is you can do a wind turbine pump, and that goes all the time. The problem is I don't know enough about that to really give good advice.
And there are solar-specific pumps out there that work directly from solar and not even from batteries. So you can reconfigure your well system with a tank that keeps that tank full from a solar pump that's, like I say, it only pumps when the sun is shining. And there are other configurations you can configure with batteries as well. But there are definitely solutions for you out there that would help you with that concern.
Okay, thank you. And I'll call again. I'll ask some more questions when I go to work. Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, bye-bye.
You want to attempt and try and play that again there, Scott, since we left
Yep.
a couple of minutes
So
of...
we found a fun button that was turned off. And so for those of you who are listening anxiously to dead air, we really apologize. We've got this fixed. We're going to try this again. This is Julie Harmon's platform.
Hi, I'm Julie Harmon. I am Miss Utah American 2015. My platform and message is about being responsible and prepared. I focus on self-reliance. Self-reliance to me goes really deep. It goes to the heart of everything that I'm about. I'm a single mother, business owner, and serial entrepreneur. I realized over the years of being a single mother that there were many instances in my life where I wasn't sure if I was prepared, whether it be every day or emergency. I found it.
Hi, I'm Julie Harmon. I am Miss Utah American 2015. My platform and message is about being responsible and prepared. A focus on self-reliance. Self-reliance to me goes really deep. It goes to the heart of everything that I'm about. I'm a single mother, business owner, and serial entrepreneur. I realized over the years of being a single mom.
All right, we're still having some problems. I don't know what's going on this morning, but we are not connecting to the correct port. Again, we apologize. We are not the best at this. We're really good at preparedness. We're just not good at producing. So
we have someone in here assisting with this, and we'll hopefully get this played for you very shortly.
that's what I had to connect to. So we've got our station manager here. She's trying to fix everything for us because apparently we don't know what we're doing. She's hooking everything up, and for some reason it was connected, but it wasn't playing right. Now it is. Thank you so much.
Middle of accidents or not enough money in the bank account. When I knew that I had to search deeper, I had to figure out whether or not I was truly prepared. I realized too that it was the message that not only I needed to receive, but there were a lot more citizens in as well. And I realized also that self-reliance is something that isn't just about food storage. It's a message that goes across the board in many facets of life. I'm taking this message to businesses and nonprofits, to education system and politics, and also bringing it to our service providers. I'm working with so many different systems and organizations. In order to bring awareness about self-reliance, each one of us needs to carry this message with us. We need to realize, are we truly prepared in case of emergency? Are we ready for what tomorrow brings? Do we have what we need that's essential to our own lives? That's really what this message is about. And I can't wait to share it more around the country, the state of Utah, and hopefully around the world.
All right, finally. We finally got it working, so thank you, Kendra, for getting that taken care of for us. We are still live. We're K-Talk, KTKK on Twitter, K-Talk Radio on Instagram, and K-Talk Utah on Facebook. If you want to call in, the number to call is 801-254-5855. I'm Scott with PrepperCon.com, and we've got Shane, the preparedguy.com over here. We love preparedness. We're horrible at production, apparently. We're learning. Please bear with us. Don't find another radio station. Stick with us, because you know what? In an hour, you'll get somebody new anyways.
One thing I was going to say about that little clip there is that you can really tell that Julie really believes in her platform, and I had a lot of great questions for her. If we could ask her those questions.
Absolutely. You know, one of the funny things is when it comes to emergency preparedness, I kind of lived my life for a long time not talking about it. It was a background item. I didn't tell people that I was into preparedness. I didn't tell people I was a prepper because for a long time I lived outside of Utah, and you just don't do that. The first rule of prepping is you don't talk about prepping. The second rule of prepping, you don't talk about prepping. And so moving back here and being able to start talking about it, you know, people started asking a lot of questions, and the biggest question was, oh, can I just come to your house if something happens? And the quick answer to that is no. The slow answer to that is no. But what I would love to do is try to help them set up their own plan. It's really easy to start. The easiest thing to do is just go grab a 5-gallon water container. There's the little blue pails. They seal really well. They store really well. There's bigger ones. I mean, I've seen systems that are 600 gallons. You know, cisterns that you can put in the backyard. There's big water tanks you can use. There's ones you can put on the roof. There's ones you can put inline in your water line already. Then you just flip a switch, and it goes from using your storage to using the water cycling through your house.
A lot of great options out there, and where I started, that's a great topic. Where I started on my preparedness, I guess, water in particular, is filling up 2-liter jugs of that were previously filled with soda.
Yeah.
You don't want to use milk jugs. I think we don't want to use a container that's of course food approved and that will seal completely, very tightly, like the soda container. So that's where I started, and then slowly bumped up to the large totes that I have now.
Absolutely. You know, now I've got quite a few 55-gallon barrels. You know, I'm looking at there's a couple 80-gallon tanks I'm really interested in because they're nice. They store for a really long time. They don't take up as much space. They're vertical, you know, so you just want to make sure you strap it so that in case of an earthquake, your water's not tipping over and crushing something, someone, heaven forbid, or falling down and spilling everywhere, and then you don't have any water. But it's funny how that's kind of the starting point for most people. They don't know where to start. And for me, I think water's probably the easiest way to do it. The second easiest way is when you go to the grocery store and you're getting your normal food supply, grab a few extra cans. Cans store for a really long time. You know, they give you an expiration date, but usually that expiration date's about 8 months to 4 years short, depending on the product. I mean, I've got canned food that's probably 5 years old. No bulges, still fine. Obviously, you want to check your food before you eat it. Even if you've got the freeze-dried 25-year shelf life food, you've got to test it. You've got to check it and make sure it's still good before you're eating it. Otherwise, you know, you could have some bacteria. Something could have gotten into your food. It could go rancid. It could be stale. I mean, there's a million things that could go wrong, especially if you're not storing it in optimal conditions.
That's right, especially with the canned food. The date that they put on there is called the best buy date. It's not necessarily, it's bad after this date. As Scott was saying, if it's bulging, then it's an obvious sign. But otherwise, it should be good for even decades beyond that date. What my advice is... What's that?
Actually, we're heading into a break.
Okay.
We'll come back to you, Shane.
That's right,
Hi,
Hi, this is Alan Blood with Capital Financial Group. With home values increasing and low rates still available, now is the perfect time to refinance your home. Capital Financial Group, we have loan programs to fit your refinance needs. Whether you want to pull cash out from your home, decrease your interest rate monthly payment, or just reduce your loan to a 15-year payoff. We have programs that will help you refinance even if your income or credit is less than it used to be, or if you're underwater on your mortgage. Instead of getting lost in the shuffle of a big bank or paying high fees at a credit union, call us and we'll help you refinance with the best rates and lowest closing costs for you. You may even qualify for one of our no closing cost loans. Call me today, Alan Blood, at 801-298-5887 to start saving money on your mortgage now. 801-298-5887. NMLS number 3146.
I'm smiling because I can enjoy my life again without worrying about the IRS or how I'm going to support my family. My friends told me about TaxDebtPros.com, a local Utah full-service tax resolution company. The professionals at TaxDebtPros.com did a free case analysis and explained everything to me clearly in a language I can understand. It got right to work, and now I'm paying a smaller portion of what I did before. The best part is I got my life and smile back.
Do you have IRS problems? The local experts at TaxDebtPros.com assist business owners and individuals in resolving tax issues. They can help reduce your tax debt and penalties, assist with IRS audits, stop wage garnishment, tax liens and levies, and prepare unfiled tax returns. Get help now. TaxDebtPros.com will completely handle your case with the IRS and take your stress away so you can start smiling again. Visit them online at TaxDebtPros.com or call them today, 801-878-0363 to schedule your free case analysis.
I recently met with a homeowner who was ready to retire but felt trapped in his job because his retirement funds had gone down substantially over the last few years, and he needed the income from his job to pay payments on his home. Reviewing his options, he realized the reverse mortgage would pay off his current loan, give him some money to take care of much-needed repairs, and eliminate his monthly mortgage payment completely. If you own your home, you're 62 or older, you may qualify for a reverse mortgage. It will help you meet your retirement goals. I have years of experience helping Utah homeowners who will help you find the right solution for your financing needs. With a 10-minute call, I can help you find out how you qualify and how a reverse mortgage can help you. Call me today, Alan Blood, 298-5887. That's Alan Blood, Capital Financial, 801-298-5887. NMLS 3146.
Here's a program reminder from Canyon Creek Assisted Living and Memory Care. Canyon Creek is co-sponsor of the K-Talk Seasoned Citizens Hour, now at 12:05 Saturday afternoon. This is Rich Dixon, host of the program, and we'll be telling you this week about active overly insured. Quote, I've never seen a speck of dust at Canyon Creek. It's close to popular stores and is immaculately clean. A real creek runs through the garden. Lots of fresh air. It's beautiful. They fulfill requests for certain food for my grandmother, and I'm so pleased. To reach Canyon Creek, call 801-568-9909. Arrange a tour of the Canyon Creek facility and listen to their radio show now, Saturdays at 12:05.
All right, you're with us here on PrepperCon Radio. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We've got about 15 minutes left for the show today. I'm going to turn the time back over to Shane. Finish off the content you were just started on with your water.
We were talking about, I guess, where to get started with water and food storage and so forth. And I give you my take on water. And with food storage, this is has been my advice across the board. Is first thing, fill your shelves. Fill your shelves up with approximately 3 months worth of the stuff you eat every day. The canned goods, have a freezer, in your garage we keep literally weeks and weeks worth of frozen bread in the freezer. And after you've got 3 months worth of food on your shelves, then turn towards the more expensive freeze-dried stuff, which, the quality stuff, the stuff that tastes good, that's easy and quick to prepare. And then after that, turn towards your bulk grains, your rice and wheat and so forth. That takes, a little bit more to prepare. That way you can start to implement the use of your grains and grinding your wheat and getting used to that when that emergency comes along.
I think with that, if you're getting grains, if you're storing hard grains, you really can't store grains. Once you've turned it into flour, it doesn't store for very long. If you're storing your wheat, make sure, please, that you have a grinder, not just an electric grinder, a manual grinder, or a way that you can power that after something happens, because a lot of the people I talk to have electric grinders. They don't have a backup in case the power's out. They're like, oh yeah, I got 500 pounds of wheat. I'm like, congratulations, you've got 500 pounds of lead, unless you've got a grinder. Unless you've got methods to prepare that food, it's worthless. And I think a lot of people forget that when they're getting themselves ready. They don't know what they don't know, and the biggest, I guess, hurdle or mistake that I hear is, they may have all these tools and they're just missing a spoon. They may have all these things, if you've got all the wheat and you're missing a grinder,
no can opener,
you still can't make bread. You've got all these cans and no can opener, and if you're relying only on your electric can opener, you're in trouble. You got to have a backup method to be able to do all these things. And it's so easily forgotten and skipped over that I just want to bring it up over and over again. Every time I talk to people, make sure you have a way to use all the things that you have. If you don't, there's no point in having them.
And that's where putting it into practice every day, every week, and having a plan helps you determine and find out and figure out, what am I missing? What element here do I need to improve on?
Absolutely. Now, if you want to join in the conversation, it's 801-254-5855. We welcome your calls. This is a talk show, so talk to us. We've got just about 10 more minutes left before we round out the hour. I want to introduce our guests next week. It's kind of a special event coming up. It's the World Congress on the Family. It's the 9th World Congress on the Family that they've had, and this is the first time it's been in the United States, and it's in Utah this year. It's an international event. We've got David Buer in here next week. He's the Director of Communications for the Sutherland Institute.
Are you sure he's going to show up there?
He's actually not coming in, sorry. He's calling in. The event actually starts every morning at I think 8 o'clock, and so he's got to stay up there. It's at the Salt Palace. It's at in Salt Lake at the Grand American and the Little American. But they're going to have everything from the Mormon Tabernacle Choir doing a presentation and singing to special speakers from child sex trafficking, from internet protection for your family. They'll talk about the political issues going on. They'll be talking about all the different things you can do to help protect your family and keep and preserve your family's rights. And that's part of prepping. And so we're kind of excited to have him here. But he's been quarterbacking the communications and marketing efforts for the event, and that's going to be from the 27th to the 30th, and we'll have me here on air on the 28th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., our usual slot. And if you want to go check out any information on that, you can hop online, check out the website. You can go to the sutherlandinstitute.org. You can also check out World Congress on the Family. If you just Google search it, it'll pull up their website. You can buy tickets. You can get daytime tickets, or you can get special event tickets for those evening events. Really cool event. So he'll be on air with us next week. We'll be talking about the issues around families and what's going on in the world. Rounding out our hour, though, talking about preparedness. One of my favorite, most often forgotten things in preparedness, besides the tools for your food, is everyday carry. Often referred to as EDC. What do you always carry with you? What do you make sure you have when you walk out the door?
Love this topic. I'm a huge fan of everyday carry. Have been since before I called myself a prepper.
So most people, when they think everyday carry, all they think is a firearm, which I think is dumb if that's all you're thinking. Most people, if you look in your pockets right now, you're probably going to find a few really cool things. Chapstick being one of them. Keys, which are amazing tools. I mean, obviously you can't start your car without your keys. Your wallet, photo ID. But what do you carry specifically to make sure you're prepared? I'll tell you, one of the things I carry all the time is my pocket knife. And it's not just a normal knife, and it's not a multi-tool with pliers and every other gizmo and gadget you can think of.
I have both.
Shane's a little more prepared than me, I guess you could say, but I find myself tightening screws more than anything else, so I've got a socket driver on here with 4 interchangeable screwdriver heads on my pocket knife. But it's a folding pocket knife. It's got a clip, so it just clips into my pocket. It's easy to carry. But another thing is pens. Always carry a pen or pencil, something to write with, so you can write a message in case of an emergency. It's funny how often those things are forgotten. What do you carry in addition to that, Shane?
Well, I think a lot of people think of EDC, everyday carry, as what you actually have on your person, and that's not necessarily the case. So yes, on my person I always have a more traditional pocket knife, 3-inch pocket knife. I have a multi-tool flashlight, which you could also call a tactical flashlight, because I carry a firearm. I also carry my wardrobe and my shoes. I also consider my everyday carry. Nice leather belt. But everything that I carry in my business bag, I also consider my everyday carry. Everything that's in my vehicle, I consider my everyday carry, and that extends all the way to air tanks and tools and of course first aid kits and jump kits and pretty much you can almost take a guess, and I've probably got it in there.
Yeah, your car's chock full. It's like a treasure trove for any guy. It's going to have pretty much any kind of tool you want in there. I consider my everyday carry also my get-home bags. You can call it a get-home bag, a 72-hour kit. I don't live by 72-hour kits. I think they had their heyday when all emergencies lasted 72 hours or
Agreed.
less. I always carry 96 hours worth of food in my bags for 2 people, because I don't know if it's going to take me a little while to get home or a long while to get home. And also, as a realtor, if I've got a client with me and there's a flat tire or a medical issue or a broken down car, we get stuck somewhere for a little while. I don't want them starving on my watch. I feel like I've got to take care of them as well. So I've always got food for my clients as well in my car, as well as water. Those little emergency blankets, the little silver, I forget the technology that they call it. Those little space blankets. Thank you. NASA developed them. They're awesome. They're not reusable most of the time. You can get a few good uses out of it, but they're only $1, and I have one of those in 3 different pockets in my bag.
Here's something that I stashed in all of my bags. I guess more recently is TP, toilet paper. That is an essential item for an everyday carry.
Absolutely. If you don't have toilet paper in your car or something to wipe with, you get stuck on the side of the road with a little kid, you could be in a world of hurt. You never want to have to use your hands on that one or find a towel. It's better to just be prepared. Every mom I talk to has wipes, has sanitizer, has backup outfits, has extra diapers, has extra food, crayons. That's a great one. Crayons and coloring books. If you've got kids, that's such a great way to kill time and to keep them occupied and their morale high during one of these types of incidents.
And did you know that a crayon will burn for about 30 minutes?
Yes, it's a great light source. Yeah. Bringing to another topic, being able to start a fire. What do you carry? I have a couple lighters in my car just because. I don't smoke, I don't need them, but I'd rather have them in case I need them than not have them and wish I did.
Yeah, and we're going to have a survivalist on here in the next couple of weeks to talk about how to make fire from sticks. Whether it's with a bow drill or a hand drill or so forth. But in my opinion, you can carry matches, you can carry ferro rods, you can carry all kinds of stuff to start a fire. But in my opinion, the best item to carry is a Bic lighter.
Yeah, Bic lighter's great. And they're cheap. You can put a whole bunch of them in your car and forget about them. And you'll always be able to find one in a nook and cranny when you need it.
Skip lunch and you buy a dozen of them.
Hey, we got lucky. We got a caller coming in right now. Let's bring him on the air. Hello, and thanks for calling into K-Talk. You're live.
Hi there. At the risk of mentioning a name brand product, there's another emergency type blanket that along the lines of based on the Mylar one you were talking about.
Absolutely. Tell us what it is.
Grabber is the name brand. It's available on Amazon for around $16 or so. And yes, it's more expensive, but it's got like tarp material on the reverse side. And so it's quite a bit more durable. It would be good for multiple using.
Yep.
And there are 2 styles. One's just a regular rectangular sheet, and the other one, in one corner, there's a hood built in. And then there are 2 little, in the opposite diagonal corners, the opposing diagonal corners to that, there would be some little cup holes that you could put your hand through to pull it around to, like a poncho almost.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. I actually have one of those exact blankets in my bug home bag. So yeah, thank you for the recommendation. That's fantastic.
Yeah, they're I think a little bit worthwhile to consider as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And of course, another thing that I think is absolutely essential to have on you in your everyday carry is a water filter of some sort.
Absolutely. I carry a couple different types of water filters. I've got a Life Straw. We're going to go name brands here for a second. I've got a Life Straw, which is great, but it doesn't get everything. But I carry that because it's my giveaway. I also carry a Renovo water filter, which is a triple stage filter. It's got charcoal. It's 0.00002 microns. I mean, it does mine tailings. I mean, this thing, I love it. It pretty much pulls out anything, but it's a cylinder, so you can put it directly in the water and drink out of it. You can also screw it to the end of a water bottle and hang the water bottle upside down so you can gravity feed filter your water. I love it because it's easy, it's versatile, and I can interchange the compartments. So if the filter starts going bad, I don't have to buy another one. I mean, they're only $40. It's worth it. I actually have used this thing. You can ask my wife. It's pretty funny. We've been traveling. For example, we went to New York, and the water's not really very tasty in New York City. A lot of junk in the water there, but it's chemicals. And so every night we'd refill our water bottles. But we would use my little Renovo filter, just hang it upside down, and squeeze off the water into another bottle. So we'd have carrying around water, because I didn't want to spend $4.50 for a 16-ounce water bottle every time I got thirsty in New York City. We did the same thing all the way. We went up the coast. We went through Maine. We went through New Hampshire. We went through Connecticut, Rhode Island, and pretty much everywhere we went up there, the water was really, really chlorinated, and they had just all kinds of junk in the water.
Who knows if they have fluoride in the water either.
Yeah, and so with fluoride, I mean, there's so many different issues that we just carry that. I carry that all the time, but then every time we go traveling, my wife now is like, "Do you have the water filter? Is it in your bag?" And I'm like, "Of course. I can't go anywhere without it. It's one of my go-tos." It's actually one of my probably most used items in my standard bag, and I take a bag with me no matter where I go. I obviously change the content depending on the needs. I actually took one on a cruise. You know, you've got all your food paid for and prepped for you, and you really don't have to worry about it. But if you've got an island excursion, it's nice to have some ponchos, a way to start a fire, water filtration, especially if you're in Mexico or a third world country where you don't know what's in the water, Giardia or worse. To filter those things out and to be able to feel confident about it, man, that makes me feel just nice and happy and safe and secure inside. So we're actually running up against the hour here. We're almost done. But we want to thank everybody for listening in. Check us out every week. We'll be back here.
We'll see if we can get Julie on here in the near future. And Scott and I are headed out to the Armory, so if you happen to be out there, come say hi to us.
I thought we were close, but then it took 15 minutes to notice I was